welcome, everyone. I'm so excited to see you all here today. So, today I'll be talking about what you need to know about prohibited goods when importing from China. It's very important that you know the items that you're not allowed to bring into your country, as this can cause your shipments to be held or even confiscated. So, by the end of this session, we're hoping that we've understood what prohibited goods are. We've learned about Nigeria and Ghana specific prohibited goods or items. We've known the custom procedure and penalties, learn tips to avoid shipment delays or confiscation. So prohibited goods are goods that are banned from importation or exportation by law. Like, they are not allowed into the country no matter what it is. So they are banned for safety, for health, for security reasons, for morality, and environmental protection reasons. There are some items that you cannot bring in because they feel that they can have potential hazards to even our environment. So you can't bring them in. So prohibited goods are very different from restricted goods. They are two different things, because restricted goods still allow permits but are not bound outright. Like, they're not fully banned, but you just need to provide some certain documents to clear them off. So it's very important for us to know prohibited goods to avoid shipment confiscation or delays. We understand how the country is and we understand how Africa is. And, as much as possible, we need to avoid anything that is just going to, pin us down when it comes to custom issues. So you have to make sure that you know about this to avoid your goods either, being delayed or being destroyed. You also have to know about prohibited goods to prevent fines or legal penalties or even blacklisting. Legal penalties can even go as far as even getting arrested. People get arrested because they bring in prohibited goods. They even get blacklisted and they can't import again because they brought in prohibited goods. So you also need to know about prohibited goods to protect your business reputation, because once you're even blacklisted, it's like everywhere. They just put it out for everybody to see, and you are not able to do some certain things. You can't even use any ports. It's that bad. You can't use any port anywhere at all. It's like they just transferred your information everywhere, so you can't do anything. So you also need to know this to ensure smooth custom clearance and just get your goods out in time. So we have common prohibited goods when importing from China. It might be surprising, but there are some things that we cannot bring in because of, like I said, the health reasons, environmental reasons, safety reasons, morality, security, and all of that. So you can't bring in pork, you can't bring in nuclear industrial waste, you can't bring in alcoholic substances, you can't bring in drugs and narcotics, medicaments under the HS codes 3003 and 304, waste pharmaceuticals. You can't bring in corrugated paper and paper boards, even used motor vehicles over 15 years old. I'm getting to see that customers reviewed it to vehicles over 12 years. So that's a good thing. I've not really confirmed that information to be very sure that that's what it is. But yeah, so used vehicles, you can't even bring them in over 15 years old. You can't bring in bagged cement. You can't bring in certain furniture items. There are certain furniture that you can bring in. You can also bring water, including mineral water. You can bring them in. You can bring in carpets and certain textile floor coverings. We know that we see some of these floor coverings that people sell, right? There are some that you cannot bring in because of this prohibition. You can't bring in used compressors. You can't bring in fridges, freezers. There are so many. You can't even bring in. Sometimes you need to go through some certain permits to even bring in used clothes. All right, you can't bring in those things. They're actually prohibited items. You need proper approval to be able to bring in these things. You can't even bring in pornographic materials, dildo, sex toys, and all of that, right? They are prohibited, but people still smuggle them in to the country. But it's very important that you know these things to avoid stories that touch. And these are the particular niches you should not be looking into if you want to, do a business on a long term, because over time it's not very safe, and it can lead to a lot of bad. So restricted goods, unlike prohibited goods, restricted goods are allowed with a license, approval, or a permit, right? We have items that contains battery. They are restricted. You need a special permit to be able to bring them in, both rechargeable or disposable battery, no matter what it is. Even if the battery is even as small as that small battery that is in a wristwatch, it's a restricted goods. It's a special item. You can't just bring it in like that. You need to, submit some certain permits and show some licenses to bring in items like that. So food and edible items, chocolate, herbs, supplements, and all of that stuff, you also need permits and licenses to be able to bring in these things. So we have items in powder form, sweeteners, nail glitters, nail polish, anything powder, liquid, right? You need to use show some certain licenses. Medicine and supplements I already mentioned. Liquid items, cosmetics, beauty products, else they are not normal products, they are not normal goods. That's why you see that these particular items, when you are bringing them in, it takes a lot of time, right? It takes like extra days because of the special checks, the places it needs to go to, the clears and all of that stuff, the approvals basically. So you need to like go through all of these things. Fragile items like even glass, electronics. Some electronics are also restricted, right? You need special licenses, you need special documents to be able to bring them in. Let's say for example, like the food, you need the NAFDAC registration number, you need like health and safety certification, a lot of things. Even for the cars, like I mentioned before, the age restrictions and all that stuff. So these are the actions that are done by customs on prohibited goods. Goods are confiscated and seized. Then after a while, that's why I say some people, after some time, they've seized your item and you're trying as much as possible to like clear them. They've auctioned it out or they've probably destroyed them, especially if they know that these things are not supposed to be in the society. They destroy them. But if there are things that they say, oh, okay, but you should have provided certain licenses, you should have provided certain documents before you can clear up these goods, they seize them. So you also pay fines, penalties, legal prosecution. In some cases, in like very serious cases, you can get arrested and even serve jail term because you brought in a prohibited goods. Potential blacklisting, like I mentioned earlier, of the importer from all ports. You can't do business with any custom officer. You can't bring in goods with any shipping company. It's like everywhere. So it can get that bad. So to avoid all of this, right? It's very important that you always check official custom prohibited goods list before ordering. We have an official website, Nigerian Custom, even Ghana regulatory advice. They have like agents. They have like a particular website you can check to be sure that this place, this particular item, I can bring it in or I cannot bring it in. So make sure you read extensively about these things. That's why we are business owners. And we're always pushing to like get more knowledge, learn more things. All right. So you read all these things, you check online, get to know about this part before even ordering, before not even just ordering, before even picking the particular niche that you want to do. You know that from our previous trainings, I've always said, we should always do research. We should make sure that we check out what we want to sell. We should make sure we check for the advantages, disadvantages of selling these things. Make sure that the advantages weigh more than disadvantages, because we understand that in business there are pros and cons to some certain things, the good and the bad. But make sure that the good side to those particular items outweighs the bad side, right? So make sure you check the official custom prohibited goods list. Use a reliable procurement services like Proc 360, because at Proc 360 we have like the special licenses, the permits to help you get these goods through, right? Especially the restricted goods. And we also like give you advice on goods that you should not bring in, right? Then work with reliable suppliers who understand import restrictions. So when you're ordering yourself, it's very important that you ask your suppliers questions. It shows that you are aware. It shows that you know what you're doing. You are not just a novice in this business. And in that way, you're not even cheated, right? So when you ask your suppliers these questions, or what does this particular thing entail, or you see that, oh, I want to buy drones. Drones are actually prohibited. So your supplier should be able to tell you, oh, you cannot ship drones to Nigeria, or you cannot ship drones to Ghana because they are prohibited, right? You can't bring them in. They feel that they are a threat to national security. Certain kind of drones, all right? So you have to like work with reliable suppliers who understand these import restrictions. And when you are talking to them and explaining these things to them, they're able to relate. They are not, pushing for that. No, it's not restricted, or it's not prohibited. You can bring it in, and at the end of the day, when it's brought in, you start running around, trying to sort it out. It's not a very good experience when you have issues with custom, because they could just hold you down for months without even giving you your items. And at the end of the day, you might even lose those items. So you should also avoid suspicious and unclear products. Please and please, when you're going through product descriptions, maybe on 1688 or Alibaba, please run away from suspicious and unclear products. Products that their pages does not like give very concise explanations, don't tell you what it really is about, don't give you like proper descriptions of this particular product. And especially if you now even reach out to the supplier to like get description about this product, right? And the supplier is not telling you anything. The supplier is just going back and forth. It's not telling you what you need to know. So avoid purchasing any of these products that you are unsure about. Please, it's very important. You need to be able to like do a concise research. You need to be able to read extensively, study extensively as a business owner, so that in that way you also grow, right? You also know these things. And when you are speaking to these people, you don't look like someone that does not know what they're doing. So how Proc 360 can help you in terms of restricted goods. or prohibited goods. First, we provide clear guidance. So we'll walk you through tricky import rules, right? There are some certain things that you feel that you can bring in, but they are restricted or they are prohibited. So we'll walk you through these processes. We tell you what you need to know. Oh, these are the permits that are needed, or these are the licenses that are needed to bring in these goods. And because you are going to be shipping with Proc 360, we have these licenses and we're able to cover for it. So we ensure, like I said, we ensure the proper permits and licenses because we have them. So we try as much as possible to make sure that your goods go through these checks without any issues because of these permits that we have. So we also stay compliant. I will make sure your goods follow the rules. We do not bring in anything that is going to cause you harm later, maybe stress you. We try to make sure that the goods follow the rules. So we'll also make sure that your importing journey is smooth from the start to finish. So these are the useful resources to learn more about prohibited goods. The Nigerian Customs Service (NCS) website. It's a very, very good place to get a lot of information about importation, right? That's why I said you should go through it. Even if you're not just checking for prohibited goods, this is a very useful site for you to get a lot of information as an importer, bringing in goods or taking out goods if you're an exporter. Very, very useful. As a Ghanaian, you need to have been able to you should go through the Ghana Revenue Authority custom website, because this is the body that is actually in charge of custom clearance and all of that in Ghana. Then NAFDAC for food and drugs. Know what you're supposed to bring. Know the particular item that will not be allowed, and what kind of NAFDAC permit do you need, and all of that. Then for Ghana, there's the Food and Drug Agency for Medicine and Food Safety that you also can get a lot of information or a lot of resources on importation from this particular agencies and on their website. So like I said earlier, the session is actually a very quick one because prohibited goods just very straightforward. I just wanted to open our eyes to see what they are and the ones that are actually restricted. So if you have questions, feel free to unmute your mic if you want to and ask your question.
Hello, good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Yeah, the first thing that struck my attention was when you mentioned restricted items, and you said dildo, because I realized dildo is so much in the market, and I don't know if it's restricted. Why do we have so much in the market?
That's the thing, and that's that's the thing. But actually, even on the Nigerian custom website, pornographic items are actually prohibited. So maybe right now, because they have special laws or special licenses for specific kind of people to bring in these things. But you know how things can go south, people can smuggle it in, just like rice, right? There was a time they said, oh, you cannot bring in foreign rice, but people were still bringing it in, right? So that's just the way it is. And that's why you see that these sex toys are very expensive, because bringing it in is not easy. It's a prohibited item. It's not even allowed, right? Because of the morality part that I mentioned. They feel it's against the morals of the country or the morals of the land, something like that.
Okay, sometimes we are restricted, with information in this part of the world, and our government sometimes don't make it easy for us to get the information. So my question now is, in a situation where a prospective buyer, decide to go on a particular items, is it possible to liaise with you to be able to guide if it's allowable in the country, and if it's something that your company could help in shipping down? Hello, did you get
Yeah,
that?
I'm here. Yes, I did. You said that in case someone wants to buy something, is it possible for you to speak with our company to help you guide you on what to bring or help you bring it in? When you actually speak with customer support, right? Tell the customer support the particular item you want to bring in, so that will check for you if it's something you can bring in, and we'll also advise you if it's not, right? But if it's something that is restricted and we can bring it in, we get those licenses and the permits to bring them in.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, someone asked, I import beauty products and I would like to know more how Proc 360 can help. Do I need to pay additional charges for clearance? So these are actually special items. The way shipping works, except you are bringing in these particular items through sea. For air shipping, we have normal goods and we have special goods, right? The price for shipping for special goods is different from the price for shipping for normal goods, because special goods require certain permits and licenses, which makes it more expensive, and a series of checks, right? So the additional fee has already been added, right? That is why it is a special goods. Beauty products are special items, and their shipping fee are more higher than normal goods if you're bringing it in by air. But if you are using sea, it's the same price for both normal and special goods per CBM. Please, I'd like to ask if drone is prohibited to buy from China. Yeah, at the moment, we don't bring in drones. Drones are actually prohibited. Drones, GPS, is actually prohibited items to Nigeria at the moment. We do not know if they are going to lift the ban. It was just recently, I think last year, that particular ban happened. We don't know if they're going to restrict, like, lift that ban yet. But if you want to buy drones, you can buy from other countries. But China doesn't ship out drones to other countries for national security reasons.
Yeah, I noticed on 1688, that's where I usually buy my stuff,
Okay.
that those branded items, like let me use for instance, like Gucci,
Yes.
it's not there. So how do we source for such? I deal on glasses, so if I want those kind of items, how do I go about it?
That if you don't see them on 1688,
Yeah, but don't see them on 1688. What
you
do I
can
do?
send us. You can send us a message to actually help out. But if
Then
you said, you said
if I'm sending you the message, do I need to send you the picture of what I
yes,
want, or just tell you the name?
you could tell us the name. You could describe what you want, or you send a picture of the
Okay.
particular item, right?
Okay.
But if you search very well using the right phrases on 1688, you should get it.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you.
So Joy, you can just, since you already have an account on Prop 360, you can just place your order directly. Maybe send in a picture of the item, add the specifications about what you want, and it will be sourced for you. So even if you can't get it, like we have our suppliers that we can speak with to get those particular items for you.
Good evening.
Hi, good evening, Adidayo.
Thank you, ma. I want to ask for issue of importation of a motorcycle.
Okay.
The one that motorcycle, the one they be like a lady bike,
Okay.
a power bike. That's it. If I want to source for that one, it is allowed to shipping it to Nigeria.
So lady bikes are not prohibited. However, they should not be. It's just like the same restrictions for cars over this particular number of years for used cars, right? So they should not be above the number of years that custom says they want to be in the country. I think that it's 12 now because I was hearing 12, right? 12 years. Or some, I think somebody said cars from about like 2006 or lesser, they cannot bring them in anymore. I'm not sure about that, but yeah. But 12 to 15 years older, you can't bring them in. So you need like special licenses to be able to bring in cars, to be able to bring in bikes, vehicles generally.
Okay. But you can help to ship it if we are ready to buy it now.
Yes.
Okay. So maybe when I am ready, I will send the picture to the customer and we will discuss better.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome, sir. So I think Ademola asked, what about oils like vegetable oils and almond oils? They are not prohibited, but they are restricted because they are foods, right? So you need the special licenses to be able to bring them in. They're special items, they're liquids. So you need a special license to bring them in. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. So if you have further questions, please drop it on the community. Feel free to send a DM to customer support or you send a message on the community. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.